was home alone one night playing video games in my living room when I heard noises coming from downstairs in the basement. My parents went out for the night with some of their friends for dinner and I had the entire house to myself. It felt refreshing to finally have some alone time and play video games on our big screen plasma TV. We had a 50-inch Pioneer high-definition plasma and I remember being so excited about playing Halo 2 all night on this thing online with my friends. But after playing for an hour, I thought I heard and felt movement coming from down below me in the basement. I muted my headphones and listened out but heard nothing, so I continued playing. 2 hours went by when I heard and felt the same movement below me again, so I muted my headset once more and listened a little closer. This time it was louder and it felt like something hit the basement ceiling below me. I told my friends to hang on a second, then I walked to the entrance door leading to the basement. There's also a side door entrance that leads to the basement from outside of my house, which is about 7 steps down from the hallway entrance door that leads to the basement, and it was open. Not much, but enough to seem as if someone let themselves in and didn't shut it all the way. I slowly walked down the steps and shut the side door and locked it. I was seriously freaked out and scared. I mean, there was no one home except me, and I lived in a good area. Nothing bad ever happened around here. Curiosity got the better of me, so I figured I'd check out the basement. I flicked the lights on and everything seemed fine, just as it should be. But we have a storage room tucked away at the end of the basement hall and I couldn't resist making sure everything was in order in there too. I literally tiptoed towards the storage room and I could feel my heart racing. I grabbed my trusty old aluminum baseball bat I had stashed beside our mountain bikes and gripped onto that thing, ready to swing for the bleachers if anyone came charging out of that storage room. As I moved closer to the storage room, I could feel my hands beginning to get clammy, and what felt like an hour was only a few minutes when I stopped and just stared at the door. The fear and sheer anxiety was holding me back from opening that door, but I had to find out what made those noises. I reached for the doorknob and turned it and pushed the door open with my bat, and as soon as the door was halfway open, someone kicked the door shut and growled at me like an animal. I fell on my ass but got right back up and never ran so fast in my life. I ran and tripped up the basement steps but made it back safely into my house, locked the door, and told my friends I had an intruder in the basement and that I had to call the cops. I dropped my headset and I could hear my friends' voices saying, "What the fuck and holy shit, are you serious?" as I ran to grab my cell phone to dial 911. While I'm on the phone with the 911 operator, I could hear pounding on the basement ceiling coming from down below me. I shouted to the 911 operator that someone broke into my house and was in my basement storage room. The operator kept asking me question after question, but I was so frightened I couldn't answer any of them and just kept telling her to please send help because there was someone in my basement. "Someone broke into my house, please help." She told me to calm down and find a place to hide and told me help was on the way. So I hid in my bedroom closet. My breath was bouncing off of the telephone and hitting me back in the face from how fast I was breathing. The operator asked me again for my name and how I told her. She asked me my age, where my parents were, and I told her. She asked if anyone else was in the house besides me and I said no, it's just me. She asked me if there was any way she can get in touch with my parents, so I gave her both of their cell phone numbers. She told me not to hang up and to stay on the phone with her no matter what. She told me I was doing fine and that everything would be fine, that there were 2 police units heading to my house and they would be there any second. And then the pounding on the basement ceiling started up again. This time the pounding was so loud it sounded like a demolition team was rearranging my entire basement. The operator asked me what was going on and if I was okay. She asked me what was that noise, and I told her whoever is downstairs is banging on the basement ceiling and won't stop. She told me to hold tight and that the police had arrived and were outside in front of my house. She asked me if there was any way the police could enter my house without breaking down any doors. I told her I didn't want to leave the closet. I told her I was very scared and that I didn't want to go anywhere. She told me not to worry as the banging from the basement was somehow now coming from underneath my bedroom closet. "Please help me, the banging is underneath me." And then I heard my side door getting kicked in from the police. I ran out of my closet and ran to the back door and heard the police yelling out commands as they walked down the basement steps. The banging kept increasing as they shouted, "Make yourself known." The operator told me to stay put, so that's what I did as the police continued giving out commands without getting any answers from anyone. I heard a door getting kicked in, assuming it was the storage room door. But then I heard them say to each other, "There's no one here. It's all clear." The cops searched the entire house and found no one. It couldn't be possible. I kept telling them that there had to have been someone here, as someone had to have been in my basement. I told them that the side door was slightly open, like someone came in and forgot to shut it, but that we always kept that side door locked. That I opened the storage room door and someone kicked the door shut and then growled at me. That there was banging on the basement ceiling. They tried using the excuse of me being a kid with an over-amplified imagination. So what the fuck was all that banging that I heard? The cops heard it. The operator heard it. This couldn't have been playing out in everyone's imaginations. The police took down notes of what I heard and saw that my parents got home. And right before my parents walked through the now broken side door, the cops were laughing with each other, and one of them even said, "Maybe his house is haunted." Well, if that's the case then, why didn't anything ever happen again? I was 17 years old when that crazy night happened, and I lived at my parents' house until I was 23 before getting my own place. I'm going on 37 and nothing ever happened again at my parents' house. Believe me, I've asked them, and even stayed there some nights throughout the years on the weekends waiting for something to happen again. They're going on vacation next month for their 40th wedding anniversary, and I've given this a lot of thought. Many years and nights of endless thought. So much so that it's kind of consumed me. My friends that were playing Halo with me that night, they heard everything through their headsets, and we've talked about this for a long time together too. Next month when my parents leave, we plan on doing a Ouija board session in the basement storage room. I need to know if that house is really haunted or not.